Okay, so Ryan Walters. Ryan Walters, for those who do not know, well, let's start here. For those who don't know, I am from the great state of Oklahoma. And Ryan Walters is the state superintendent. And right now, well, backstory. He was, I just learned this, on the list to becoming Donald Trump's Secretary of Education before Linda McMahon probably donated her way to the top, because the McMahons are big donors of the GOP and Donald Trump. Being that she is the wife of an actual billionaire and she's got money herself too, so they donated a lot and have now been in both of Donald Trump's hijackings of America. But he was on the list. So he's the state superintendent there and causing all sorts of havoc within the educational system. Number one, he wanted to put Trump Bibles in every classroom because he wanted the Bible to be taught as a historical text. Bearing in mind that it is full of wizards and magical people, but still, he wanted it taught as a historical text. And said that there would be some sort of sign-off, and if you didn't do it, you could be disciplined and fired as far as a teacher goes. Calling the teachers, some of them perverts, because they were reading banned books, and wanted them fired and ousted and thrown in the town square and shamed and that type of thing. He also put out a video that he wanted shown in every school where he was bowing his head and inviting the children to pray. He also not just wanted every Bible, but the Trump Bible, the one that has the Constitution and all that stuff in there anyway, and wanted to spend public money on these Bibles. Then he graduated to putting into the curriculum of Oklahoma schools that there were discrepancies in the 2020 election because Donald Trump lost that one, and so there had to be something wrong. There had to be discrepancies, and so he wants that taught. And that is currently in the social studies courses there in Oklahoma. And also, may I mention to you that Oklahoma, Oklahoma, Oklahoma is 50th out of 50 in terms of education. Now, I grew up in Oklahoma, and for those who have a better education than I do, you probably won't need this explanation, but I'm going to say it anyway. 50th out of 50 means you're last, in case you weren't keeping up there. 50th out of 50, or 50th out of 81 if you ask Laura Trump. So, I want to look now at the next 2 months for Ryan Walters, August and September. Now, I think this may go further than that, but we'll see. So, speed up. Ryan Walters, the person who says that books should be banned for sexually explicit material and porn is bad and teachers who like it are horrible people. He was in a meeting with some of the town councils. A meeting, not at his house, not in his car, his private dwelling. A meeting at his office. And on the screen behind him were naked women on the screen. There's a man that stood up and said, "I see naked women, I see naked women." And then he turned around all flushed in the face and said, "Oh, that's not supposed to be there," and turned it off. Another woman in there said, "Yep, I see it too." And then he turns it off, right? Again, he's in a meeting. He's not at home. He's not in his car. He's not in his own private dwelling. He's in his office. on company time with explicit material on a screen behind him. Why was that there in the first place? I want to take a look. I'm going to do a Tableau for the next few months for him, but I want to take a look at that. Why was it there? Because he's given a press conference in Republican fashion. Now, there's two types of Republican press conferences, or two types of politician press conferences. One, you say God is my hero and my family and I are healing and that type of thing. That one's probably coming next. But right now, he's doing the double down. This is a political attack, he said. The Democrats are afraid of change and they will stop at nothing to stop my agenda. Da, 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 da. Now, the governor has not thrown him under the bus, but he has now thrown the governor under the bus, saying, hey, Governor Stitt, S-T-I-T-T, hey, Governor Stitt, did you send them here to do this? What is that meaning? He's referring to the people in his office, saying that there were naked women on his TV. He is saying to the governor, did you send them to my office to look at my TV and see? The man didn't stand up and say, I see Republicans on your TV. He said, I see naked women. He didn't put them there. It's your TV. How did the governor send random people, not even random people, these are members of the OHS something, the education board. He sends them there to, what, telepathically put naked women on your TV? That doesn't even make sense. He says this is a leftist liberal agenda and an attack and all these type of things. And they're afraid of change. And then, of course, everybody in the comment section saying, I'm surprised it was women. So I want to look at why was it there in the first place. Why was it there? Because, mind you, again, it's your office and your TV. So, explain. Well, why was it there? We have the Strength card and the Lover's card. The Nine of Cups and the Seven of Swords. That's what I thought. And the Moon and the Fool. Okay. So he's got a problem. And he is trying to cover it up. But mind you, what's in the dark shall come to the light. Here, he is fascinated with sex, but not just in a physical way. It's porn. But this is not, I didn't get the devil, mind you, to say that he has an addiction, necessarily. What I get is, I'm going to say he has an addiction, because if you can't even go to work without doing this, then yes. But this is more lending itself to, this is excess with the Nine of Cups. And the Seven of Swords is a scheme of some sort. He is trying to cover this up. The problem here, and why is it there, is what I'm asking. Why is it there is because he's a fool and he didn't realize. It consumes him, basically. And so what's in the dark comes to the light. What's under the water comes to the surface, type thing. So it was bound to happen, because he does this in excess. But the problem is, or what the influence of this reading is if you look into the other areas of his life, he does this everywhere. And you may want to, because they're doing their investigation by looking into his electronics and things, there could be like statements on his credit card bill that look like one thing, but they're actually another. There is a bunch of plain brown packages in his house somewhere. He has an issue, but he is trying to be sneaky and covert about it. and it's not working because, again, what's in the dark comes to the light. And he got careless and made the mistakes. Plain brown packages in his house. Okay. So, let's look at what his life looks like the next couple of months. I feel like this is now to the end of the year, but we'll see. Yeah. There's that strength again. Of course, Lover's first card. He's got a problem. Okay. He said his first words was, "This is the nastiest." That's the first words that came out of his mouth. Trying to cover up the addictions. There it is. He said, "This is the nastiest." Pause. Attack. Oh boy. Everybody's going to get to see. Oh boy. Okay. Here's the problem though. Double down doesn't look good on you, pal. And that's what he did, and that's what he's doing. He's doubling down instead of just saying, you know what? Yeah, sorry, I got a problem, blah, blah, blah. The end. Let's, me and my wife, Maggie, or whoever her name is, we're going to work on it or something. No. Anyway. The Lovers, the Chariot, the Magician, the Hierophant, and the Stall. The Lovers card is, he has a problem. He is in House Lovers, too. The man is in House Lovers. The woman is in House Star. She's probably going to stand by him. But the Lovers is in House Magician. Manipulation. Magician is in House Empress. Women. So he may have a affair going to, online or otherwise, because the technology is right there too. He may be having some sort of affair too, or something to where he does camera stuff, like he gets on camera with somebody. The Lovers, the Chariot, the Magician, the Hierophant, and the Star. This has involved his job there in the government. So he does this at work. Like I said in the other reading, he does this everywhere. There's something in his car too they may want to check. I don't know what it is. But this may not be necessarily pertaining to his porn. This could be his affair. So there might be some sort of receipt or matchbook or something, because the woman's right under there. So there's something there that is going to point to that woman in his car. It's in House High Priestess. High Priestess is in House Fool. So there is something there to where he was careless and he keeps things. But there is a manipulation there within the government. He does this everywhere. The man, that's him, Wheel of Fortune, the Temperance, the Devil, and the Justice. There may be trying to seek some sort of spiritual counsel here too, because this is going to come to a head. It's only a matter of time. They're either going to call for him to resign or he's going to resign on his own, but it's only a matter of time. Because this is like trying to seek some sort of spiritual counsel here. Like they always do. Me and my pastor and my wife were healing and blah, blah, blah. Okay, good for you. The Fool, the Hangman, the Hermit, the Judgment, and the Moon. This investigation, he said, again, see, he thinks he's Donald Trump and he's not. and because he was trying to gain Donald Trump's favor with the whole Bible stunt, buying Trump's Bibles and things, and it didn't work because Linda McMahon's got more money than you do. But he does not have the cult following that he thinks he does. He makes the mistake, and then it ends wrong. But he came out and said that some sort of organization has cleared his name. No, it hasn't. The investigation is still ongoing. There. The problem is it may elevate because this is in house death. Death is in house moon. The hermit would be investigation. It's about to change. It's not. It's either about to change or it's going to end in its current form. Now, if it was like the tower, I would say it ends abruptly or something, but it's about to change because there's something else revealed. Death is in house moon. Moon keeps secrets. Death is a change and an ending to those secrets. And it's in house devil. Devil manipulation too. And so whatever it is that he is working on, whatever it is that he is trying to hide, is coming out. Sun is in-house tower. Tower is exposure. Sun is also exposure, double exposure. So we may be looking at some sort of his name being involved in websites and pictures and that type of thing. But it's all coming out. It's going to come out to us too here in the media or the audience with the world card. The tower is in-house judgment, which means that there will be harsh judgment upon him, mind you. Also, that there is going to be a series of events that repeat. And so, if his job goes bad, then his relationships are going to go bad. It's just a bunch of stuff that happens just abruptly. His tower moment is here, it's now. I don't know how old he is, but his Saturn return looks like it's a little early. So, he's about to go through it a lot. Everything will be affected. Tower in house judgment, judgment in house temperance, temperance in house strength. And so there is some problems with his physical relationships here. The people he thought was his friends are now starting to back away from him because they were never his friends. They were political allies at best. But here, he's making all the mistakes. The Fool and the Hangman, perspective, investigation, judgment, and the moon. Something changes though, because all his little secrets are starting to come out. But not only coming, but they're going to come out to us too. The tower is very public. Exposure is also very public. I mean, we're going to see like actual, he has pictures of him, or somebody has a picture of him somewhere. Not like in a compromising position or anything, but proof that they know him or they've talked to him. This online thing, he's got some sort of relationship online, I think. The wife will endure as much as she can. She will be exposed to criticism as well here too, unfortunately. It's not her fault, but it is there. The Sun, the Empress, the Death, the World, the Tower. And again, there is a woman here being exposed. So some sort of affair. Maybe she's going to do an interview or something of that nature. The Lovers, the Emperor, the Fool, and the Sun. There is exposure of past relationships too. So if he's currently having an affair, he had one long time ago. Either right when he was getting married, right before, somewhere around, if he's married, somewhere around there. I'm sure he's married because they always are. He's 40. Okay, well. May 23rd. Spouse is Katie. They have 4 kids. Oh, good Lord. Oh yeah, critical race theory, LGBT student rights, teachers unions. He wanted to do away with all of that. He was big supporter of Moms for Liberty. Yeah, he's that guy. It's always y'all. It ain't always y'all, but it's always y'all. But there's a woman coming out with some exposure here. And then there's a relationship here around the time he was married or getting married or something like that, because he's in house lovers. So when the time he was having his union, he was having an affair there too. The Chariot, the Wheel of Fortune, the Hangman, and the Empress. Um, I don't know how far they're going with the electronic seisment here, but it holds a lot. This does not speak to anything untoward sexually, though. This is like a business thing. I wonder how much money he's worth and where you get it from. Because it's the Chariot and the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune would govern your money, and it's in house Chariot. Chariot is in house High Priestess. Something secretive that he is doing in order to try to pass some sort of agenda. Because Chariot is in house Chariot. I mean, the Wheel of Fortune is in house Chariot, which means his business, this is a deal of some sort. He's working with someone, but this person has nothing to do with education necessarily. Um, or they could, but they could be a vendor or something like that. The Chariot is in house High Priestess. So whoever he's working with, this is off the books, off the records. It's a secretive of some sort, or they have a name that you would not associate with education. High Priestess is in house Fool, the beginning. Fool is in house Justice, something legal. So he is trying to get something passed for someone's agenda. Justice is in house Wheel of Fortune. So whatever that thing is, he's been paid for it. Whatever thing that he is trying to pass, or whatever thing he tried to implement, or I don't know if he bought books or a new textbook from some company or something, but someone's greasing the palm there. So you can look at that to why and how it is that he expanded so fast financially. There's some abundance here, and it's in house Star, which means it's growing now and futuristically. So this is like a promise for something, because the future ain't here yet, right? So this is like a promise for something, financially speaking. Magician, the Temperance, the Hermit, the Death card. The Magician and the Temperance is like a manipulation of emotions. He is attempting to, I don't know if he's going to bring up maybe a parent of his that has passed or something, like he's trying to he's trying to babyface himself, is how we used to say it in the biz, but he's trying to make himself look like a good guy or some sympathy or something like that, because Temperance is in house Strength. Strength is trying to conquer your enemies, but not through force, through gentility. These are two aspects of Jesus Christ. So he may be also looking into the spiritual as well, because this is meekness and temperance, two attributes of Christ, or the Christ child. So he is trying to play on someone's emotions here, but again, it's manipulation, because there's the Magician. The Hierophant, the Devil, the Judgment, and the World. He does have some people in government on his side, but not enough, I don't think. But his job is going to be severely compromised there, and then there's an ending in the Sun. So the World and House Sun is an ending after exposure. Exposure is there. The Star, the Justice, the Moon, and the Tower. I think his business relationship may explode there too. Forced exposure, or it may end abruptly. keep this picture and we'll come back to it as things unfold. I'm going to ask separately, though. Will he resign? Will Ryan Walters resign as the Oklahoma State Superintendent? Will he resign? So we have the World, that's an ending, and the Knight of Cups. Someone can give him the opportunity to save face if all of his information is not thrown out in the world. The Page of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, there could be a conversation about leaving, reaping the harvest. The Secrets, surprises, Ten of Swords, that's an ending and a death. Queen of Pentacles is that in which you cherish. I would say no, because the Ten of Swords is like a very disastrous end. And so, but I think somebody could give him the chance to save face. Like if you just resign now, you wouldn't have to be embarrassed by the world, or embarrassed more than you already are. So he could still take that. I mean, the decision is his. This is for entertainment purposes only. But the Ten of Swords says no, that's a firing. So let's one more. Some spiritual advice for Ryan Walters. Since he wants to play the victim, some spiritual advice for Ryan Walters. The World, the Hangman, the Page of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles. The World is step back and look at the big picture. Take in the lesson that you are supposed to learn. Learn that lesson and then keep it moving. The Hangman is sacrifice yourself in order to gain that enlightenment. This is lessons, enlightenment. This is the eternal student with the Page of Pentacles. And this is covet what you have got, what you have learned, what you have received, what you will receive with the King of Pentacles. Once you get your messages, once you get your lessons, then you take those things to heart and you cherish them as they are. This is not the end of the world. It just may feel like it. This could be a lesson for you to maybe not lie, or maybe not try to force your beliefs upon other people, or whatever the case may be. But there is a lesson in here for you, and that thing you should be learning. Sharing with other people, and then making sure that you always remember it. But I am delighting in this a little bit, I will tell you. We shall see.